I'm a refugee from South Sudan. I left my village at the age of 6 due to the civil war, and separated with my parents during that attacks, and walked 600 miles to the refugee camp in Kenya. I have been in Utah, believe me or not, time has just gone so fast. So far, 10 years and more. This is the arts that I started at a very young age, at the age of 6, back in my village, because I came from a very rich, culture where we raise cows and we value cows. And so when you are at the young age, you always look at the parents, how they take care of the cows, and you inspired, you want to become like them. You just like, oh, if I reach a certain age, I'm gonna be like my parents. So, and what we then, in the village as young folks, we always wake up in the morning, and then we go to the river and collect the clay. And then during the day, like just here, right now, we just go out at the open space and start molding cows, or making some small figurines, just to imitate how the cows look like. And then we started, playing with them, and, we sometimes sun dry them so they become more harder. And, we let them fight. For example, I could just, have this one here. So one of my friends could have this on the other side, and then I have this, and then we just let them play. So it's kind of entertainment, at the same time learning process, and as well as preparation to the real work when we reach a certain age. And so started there, then I came to United States. Of course, culture is a rich thing that if you are introduced, you cannot forget. And especially, I myself, I used to engage more, with the young folks as well, of my age. And so that stuck in my mind. Of course, in the United States here, the clay I have to go and buy. A friend of mine, I asked the other day, can I go to the river and get the clay? They say, oh no, you're gonna get into trouble. You need the license. But in my village, you just walk there and get it. But here, I have to just go to the store and buy the clay. Share with you the process on how to make the clay cow. So I will get I'll get my clay cow here, and my boy here is helping. So, Christo. Right now, they are in school, but when the school is over during summertime, yes, I will be walking them through step by steps, and teach them how to make the clay cows and the importance of cows, because the culture without sharing and teaching the young ones, it's going to really in a very endangered situation, whereby it can disappear. And so I am going to make one of my favorite bowl. So you just, I have, clay here, and I have some water to keep, the clay wet so that it doesn't dry. And then, probably this is a lot. I will just make such. So as a boy, in the village, we mostly focus on, bowls, because that's where, you will embrace them. That's where you will see now the importance of cows. The importance of cows, it gives you power, recognition, respect, and, you will become like a role model in the community. So if you don't have a lot of bulls, then you will be, you will be on your own. Nobody will really think of, even giving you some respect. But and of course, respect. I mean, if I wanna, marry, I grow in the village, then nobody will even, pay attention to me because I don't have bulls, cows, or in that regard. Currency, powerful one, without any depreciation, it's the values are always going up. And so what I'm doing right now, I am making a clay cow, and I just barely started with the 2 horns. I started with 2 horns, and the horns, you can either, have them in different direction or different, design. It's on your own, likes. If you want them straight, or you want them to be like this, you want them to be like this, and some of them you can see always they are like this, and so each have different, meaning and the songs that comes with it. So, and I usually likes to just make first, the two horns, and I like that because it shows, power in this cow, that I'm making. And then, the second thing, I'm going next now to make a ham. A ham is a very, significant part of the cow, because during the dry season in my village, our bulls don't really, don't get thirsty, because the ham, holds some fat, and that cools them during the hot season. And so we have bulls that have big hams. And when I was looking around in the United States, I see most of the cows don't have ham. So I was like, wow, what a unique situation and differences. So I am now on the second part. This is my, clay bull that it's coming up. And then the next part that, I could either make big one or small ham. It's depend on me. So if I make a big one, then I have to charge you a lot of money if you have to buy. So you got it. It's make your debit card ready or checking account. So you can see it's coming up. Or Venmo, yes, that's what these guys cost. I don't know, you may guess how much one costs. And so anyway, so I already make, I make the hams, I make the, the horns, and now I'm going to make the first two front legs, yeah? And you can see the trickness. It's not really easy. So you have to really be very artistic on, how to divide and, make this symmetrical on, balancing. And so I just got one of my leg here, and you can either make it short or long, or thin, or thick, and then I can as well can see how that comes. Have to get some clay here, and then move them around here. See, you can mess up, you can restart, you can play with it, but at the end of the day, you will have a very expensive bowl that is just made here. So, well, the colors have a lot of meanings, especially when it comes to naming of the cows. So you have to name your bull, favorite bull or cow based on colors. And so some of them, like this one in a Olichi Shulahi. So I would say I would say, what color is this? I know in my language, but I don't know in English. What could this color be? Yes. So then in my language, I can say I can name that bull based on that color. And so colors are very important. So far, and let's see, I am working on the two front legs, if I could just say that, and then I would just say, okay, how about just doing the first, and then the last two back one. At a very young age, at 6, my friends and I in the village started doing that, and while we were just, waiting for our parents in the evening, driving cows back to our home, from the grazing, and then we did it over and over again. So because it's just gaining the skills, getting the skills at a very young age, so that when we reach a certain age, then we can take care of the really cows. So yeah, absolutely. And that's, so this is this is the back legs of my bull. Right, and I could then, and there are some areas that I need to work on. So, and then right here I'm gonna make a tail right here. So would you like a long tail or a short tail? Okay, let's get a long tail, right? Yes. So because what happened, with the long tail, during a certain season, there are some animals, I mean like birds, that they come and peck the cows, and then the cows then use their tails to scare them away. And so tail have a very significant function as well. And not only that, but when we slaughter the bull, then the owner of the bull will get the tail and decorate it and make it really nice and used for traditional dance, during the big occasions. And so he will be very proud, having that hand to hand and just like waving, proudly, and that give him, power into that. And so, everything is very, 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 meaningful here. And so, now you can see, let's review how far have we gone on our, our wonderful clay bull here that I am making. And so far, so we started with the, with the horns, and then we started with legs, and then we did the arm as well as the tail. And so what then now I'm going to focus on is to see where I'm gonna put the ears, eyes, nose, and mouth. And so, and that's the reason I have some of my, pieces of wood here to create those details on. And so, but you have to be, you have to just make good choice and where to put your, nose and ears. So on this, I would just say, okay, how about right here? That's where I can just get my one of the ear. I could either just put big one or small one, and then I can get the other one as well. All right, and so this is it. So it actually brings me closer. It brings me closer to my village, and the culture, and my people. And now I'm, I just said, if I then don't keep this culture, then there is something huge would be bothering me. I would say yes, because if you forget the culture, then there is something that will bother you. You will be like, regardless of how successful you are, you will miss something. The connections and the base. That's the connection there. And of course, the memories brings the memories back, and also to it brings value for myself as well, especially sharing the culture right here in the United States and here specifically in Utah, because that I'm bringing something into our community right here to share the the richness of my culture and the value of my culture, and enriching the culture right here. Because what else can I bring in? Money? No. culture, yes. So powerful, powerful, powerful. All right, yes. So so far I made, the ears, and then I would then get something right here. I would say, let's make beautiful, eyes. I could just say, if you, will make it bigger so it can be seen. right, and then right here. And so now I have made the eyes, and the next part is to see where I can put the mouth. I can either put up or down. So it's, I would just say, how about right here, and I can make it either big mouth or small mouth. Either way, so sometimes, yep. And then I can just really I can slowly make it equal, and then you can see it's this clay bull have been walking long distance, so it's breathing and just keep going. So you can see it's focus. Your focus. It's focusing. And now I am going to, see where, of course, it nose to breathe. And so I just gonna put right here. I know my wood is gonna put one right here, and then the other one is gonna be just right here, and then I just gonna smoothen that. See, this is the culture, so doing for many, for a long time, for many years, it's been fun. But of course, when I put it off, it's I can easily forget, and that's my fear, and that's the reason I am practicing doing these traditional arts. Despite being in the United States, a lot of people say, oh, Domenico, you're doing this in the United States. I say, yes, it's important to keep our culture alive. And I have as well started a project back in the refugee camp. I'm working on a project to preserve our traditional in terms of music and dances. So I have been going back and forth, working with the community in terms of encouraging them that despite what they are going through, the culture is very important. So I have been organizing community events in terms of dances and singing, because that give them also happiness and joy, and especially being in the refugee camp, it's becoming so hard just doing nothing. But with this project that I am working with, it's enlightened them, and it reminds them as well what they have been doing back in their homes before they left, when they were chased away from their homes. And so this has been something that I'm engaging myself into, and I'm very proud to do that. Yes, so yep. And so that's part of the struggle and work that I'm working on. And so let's review what we have so far on this bowl. I made the beautiful horns, as well as the eyes, the nose right here, and the mouth. And then as well, you can see this part. It's this is some have really big one, when they go for grazing, so they just do the movement with the grass and get fresh air. So this is for fresh air. And then you can see as well, we have the ears, and then we have the legs right here, and then turning around we have the ham. The ham is very, very, very important part of the animal cow. Even during the slaughter of the bull, there is only certain group in our community that will eat this, not everybody. So if you are found violating eating this, then you will be, you'll be punished. this is only for the elders, because it has fats and, there's so much into that. So, and that's something that I am also, still curious, and I want to find more. I want to do more research and ask, elders. And that's the reason I'm doing the project of cultural preservation, in my community. And then, so that was the ham. And then of course we get the tail right here. And so I would say that's, this is what I would, say. This is such a beautiful, he is now, joining his brothers.